Hey, welcome back. I bought this thing, the March FX5-42 High Master Gen 2 PRS Edition. And just like all my other I bought this thing videos, I purchased this scope at retail. My money, you get my opinion, instead of the opinion of a sponsor that gives me something. There was no discount, no sponsorship, nothing. I purchased this, it was expensive, and I'm going to give you a spoiler here, well worth the money. Now, at the risk of turning this into an infomercial that I didn't even get paid for making, let me be very clear about this. I bought this scope because of March's reputation for high quality optics. Because I've looked through the High Masters in F-class, second focal plane scopes that is, and the Majestas, once again a second focal plane scope. And they are awesome scopes. And this being a High Master, I had high expectations for it, but was kind of surprised by what I saw when I looked through it. Because this scope doesn't look like the High Masters. As a matter of fact, it's somewhere between the High Masters and the Majestas. It's that good. I can't explain it. I don't know what they're doing inside of this scope, but I like it. And for a first focal plane scope, this is unheard of in the industry. And then we have all the design features that were designed specifically by a PRS pro. Brandon Rudge designed the reticle, and he helped with the turret design to make sure that it had the right kind of detents and clicks to it, the right number of mils per rotation, and writable turrets. So it has a lot of design features that I wanted in a scope, without all of the drawbacks of some other scopes on the market. But that doesn't tell you how it performs. As a matter of fact, after trying this scope out, mounted on a tripod like this with a camera behind it, looking out the window at a speed limit sign that's 2 miles from that window, I figured out two things. The first is the optical quality of this scope exceeds the optical quality of any of the other scopes I own, including this one. And that I don't have cameras capable of showing you the difference, especially when we put it up on YouTube with all the compression that's on the YouTube system. I can't show you in video how good this optic looks. Heck, I can't even show you that the trace is so much more visible in this scope than that one or any of the others I have. Because this thing is not high quality as far as image quality is concerned. Now, it's not designed for that use. It's designed to document where you had the rifle pointed when you pulled the trigger, which it does very well. But honestly, I can't take the images from this and try to tell you how good the optics are in this scope. It's just not possible to show you what I see with a Mark I Mod 0 eyeball through this scope. Now, another thing that I noticed about this scope that's really interesting is the depth of field. It is deep. I mean, from 500 out to infinity is almost a no adjustment situation. You might have to adjust a little bit if you come all the way into 500, but if you're 600 plus, you're basically at one setting all day. In other words, you're not going to be twiddling the knobs on the parallax adjustment very much during a match, which is good. It saves time. So you can spend more of your time making windage adjustments. And speaking of writable turrets, so is the parallax knob. Because I don't know about you, but when I take a new scope and start messing with the parallax knob, the ranges that are marked on them, pre-marked on them, never seem to line up for me. The only one that ever seems to line up is infinity, and that works on almost every scope I've ever worked with. Except, well, there's just that one. But this has a writable parallax knob. So you can take your watercolor pen and write on it for the ranges that you need. If you need to mark 200, 400, and 600 with your eye looking through the scope, you can do that. And it works very well. You can just go right to that setting very easily before you start a stage. So you start with a parallax already set, and it minimizes the number of times you have to adjust it, which means no more fuzzy targets on high-speed stages like the skills stage. The second thing I noticed about this scope is the field of view. The field of view in this scope at 20x is 110% of that of both my Night Force and my Collis. It's 22 mils across the image at 20x, and you're not losing any image size on the target in the middle. So you get more situational awareness around your target while you're shooting, which means you're going to be able to capture more targets inside the field of view on a troop line, so you don't have to turn the scope down quite so much to do it. But I'm getting ahead of myself because we need to talk about the actual testing of the scope. I mounted it on the rifle after doing the tripod work out the window and took it to the range for the first session. That first session was a PRS-like local match out at Moxie, and it turned out pretty well. Subjectively, I saw more of the trace in that one match than I had seen in the prior 3 or 4 matches between my other 2 scopes. I don't know if it was conditions or just that I had the right hold on the rifle or something else. We're going to have to do some more testing to make sure. But honestly, it seems a lot easier to see the trace through this scope. And that all started with the very first shot on steel to verify my dope in the morning. I wanted to giggle when I squeezed that one off because the trace just went up. I saw it climbing out, stop at the apogee, and just sit there before descending back into the target. I can't explain it, guys. Maybe the lighting was perfect, but it was a little too perfect. I've never seen this with any other scope in very similar conditions. And the mirage is visible too. I can not just see the mirage. It's not making the target murky. I can see which direction it's moving without making the target hard to see. I can't explain it. I don't understand the optical qualities or properties that are causing this. All I know is as a user, I like it. So after trying it on a tripod, looking out the window, trying to get images for you with a Sony camera, and failing miserably, and then going to a PRS match and getting second place, it was time to do the actual testing for the scope. And going out to the range, I figured out something very quickly. It's hunting season, so there were hunters everywhere. Even though it wasn't public shoot day, this was just for members. And even at that, one of the members had a lot of guests and visitors with him. So the range was kind of full with people that don't shoot on ranges very often. And that makes it hard to do any high-level testing. I can't get video at all because honestly, there's just people everywhere, and I don't think that people appreciate being in my videos if I don't ask them first. So I didn't get any video while I was doing the tall target test, but the result was really clear. 10 mils up, 36 inches plus about half a bullet hole at exactly 300 feet measured with a tape measure. So the scope, if it's off at all, and that wasn't just the grouping ability of the rifle itself, is only off by maybe 0.2%. In other words, it is completely negligible. And also checking the reticle was dead on, 36 inches for 10 mils in the reticle. Now, the two of them happening at the same time has only happened on one other scope that I've ever had, and that was the Nightforce Attacker F1. It has both correct and accurate clicks and correct and accurate reticle in it. All the rest of the scopes I have are off on one or other and usually off different directions for the two. Like the reticle is dead on, but the clicks are off, that one over there, or the clicks are dead on, but the reticle's off, that one over there. But you can always just true that out in your data. So in summary, this March scope has the best optics I've ever seen in a first focal plane scope. It has the largest field of view of any scope that I own, and that includes the Nightforce and the Kahles. It has the best turrets that I have ever felt and give me the most confidence of any. They're writable directly from the factory without having to put silly tapes on. And the compact size, especially in the front end, gives me more room to grip the forend over the top and a C-clamp if necessary so that I can make that one shot that you have to every other match. But I don't want you to run out and just buy one. And here's why. I have a second rifle and I need to buy a second one for my other rifle because I think I've found my forever scope in PRS. So guys, that's it. Expensive, but worth every penny. And I think this is going to be a major improvement for my PRS shooting over time because it not only makes it easier to see what's going on downrange, but makes it more fun because you can see what's going on downrange. Until next time, shoot straight, choose your optics wisely because they're expensive and hard to resell. And I'll see you in the next video.